What is up, everybody? We're going to be talking about this accident. I'm going to have a timestamp in the first comment. It's going to show the actual crash. It's going to be a low side, but I feel like I need to share this full video. It's going to be a longer video until we get to the crash, but I feel like it's very important because it shows the rider behavior, and this is his video, so it's going to have his own edits to it. I'm just reacting to it, but this is really bad in terms of rider behavior. We're riding like we're on the track. We're going over the lines and everything here. Kind of riding with our buddy. You see, that was a close call right there already. So we're starting to have close calls already within the video, within his riding session. Super close to the other riders. Very reckless. Okay, so this is something that I want to share with you guys. Blind turn right here. This is very important that we don't do this. Okay, we're on group rides. We should stay in staggered formation. We should stay, within some type of following distance. Let's have a structure to this. This shouldn't be a free-for-all. The last time I rode with a massive group was in the Southern California Motovlogger meetup back in 2015, and it was a giant shit show. Honestly, it really was. The ride from the Chaparral Motorsports to Palm Springs was just, people were going crazy. There was an accident involved somewhere along the route. This must have been behind me because I wasn't there to render aid or anything like that, but like, we're passing people, we're doing this. It's basically like, let's get from point A to point B as fast as we can, as in a race. And that's pretty much what's happening here. These people are racing on the street. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. High rate of speed. I'm unsure if this is kilometers per hour or miles per hour, but roughly 100 kilometers an hour. Based on how fast things are moving, that's probably what it is. If it was in the 120 miles per hour, I don't think we'd be doing stuff like this. We'd be going off the road real easy here. But you can see right here we have multiple motorcycle riders going from point A to point B relatively fast, and they're not focused on safety. It's all about the ego, the peer pressure. Hey, my buddy's going faster than me. I got to catch up, or I'm going to take the lead, and he's going to have to try to catch up to me. This is when we start having issues, and this is why I start talking about riding on a track. If you're going to be doing stuff like this, if you ride on a track, you're going to have only one direction. There's not going to be oncoming traffic. There's not going to be side traffic. You only have people that could come from behind you or people that are in front of you going the same direction. It's in a looped fashion, so you're not having to deal with going way outside, like way far, and then having EMS or emergency personnel. This is just ridiculous. I'm sorry. We're not going to have EMS emergency personnel, like super far away. We're all going to have it pretty much centrally located, and there's going to be safety regulations involved. So the track is going to be in a good condition. You're going to wear full gear. Yeah, no lights, no mirrors, no nothing like that. It's going to blind any other riders. So that's kind of why I say don't do this, because there's probably been about 30 violations so far and 30 close calls on this video. So it says ready right here. So this is a different view set. So you're going to have this view, and then you're going to have the view from the RC390, I believe, or the 690. We're starting to go into now traffic, and they're actually slowing down because the traffic and the hazards are actually dictating a lot of their speed right there. And you see how he sped up after he was kind of cleared. And that's kind of what we should be doing when we are riding ourselves. The hazards should dictate our speed. But these guys are either overconfident or their ego and peer pressure is taking over. You get that pack mentality. There's definitely something involved with that. We're going to go ahead and skip towards where the accident really happens, but there's another like 6 or 7 minutes of just this. Let's go ahead and move on to that. So now we're from the perspective of the KTM right here, and we have different riders, obviously with different cameras. So we're going about 120 kilometers an hour. We're passing on blind turns, and we have many pedestrians. We actually had animals during the original video crossing, and they had to slow down for the animals. We're moving in an oncoming traffic's lane, and then we're passing on blind turns just like this. So he had to switch way over, and then he had to switch back to get into his lane, which caused him to have this really bad lean angle, and it's going to cause him to slide on the gravel. So this is him right here falling down, low siding. Thankfully, it was at a relatively low speed compared to what they were doing. So here's the slow motion replay that they're doing. But you see how he went all the way far left to make that turn, and it didn't work out. We're going to go over basically what happened. But the main thing about this video is rider behavior. So let's focus on the behavior. Speed can be anything. You could do speed anywhere. But let's focus on the actual rider behavior. So let's go back. So when I say we're focusing on the rider behavior, we're understanding that these guys are being very reckless. They have high skill, because they're able to actually make these turns and then weave in and out of traffic, or it's just straight luck, whichever one you want to say. But this is very high risk, very, very high risk riding. And you're not only going to hurt yourself, you could possibly hurt somebody else or kill somebody else and kill yourself. But let's go ahead and go back just a little bit. We kind of got to that point. I was just trying to talk to you guys about this, about the behavior. So now we're going to have to pass. This is exactly what happened here, is that we're passing this vehicle. We've been doing it all day, and that kind of gives us an overconfidence in what we're doing. So let's just say, you know, for the past 2 hours, I've been doing crazy stuff like this. Well, you know, what's the next 1 minute? What's the next 1 minute? So far, the past 2 hours, I've been fine. So that's when you start building that bad version of confidence, and you're riding outside your limits, and you feel like you're pushing your limits more and more and more and more. You're not. You've just been getting lucky. So having an objective view of what you're doing is very important. So we're going to move to this part. He's going to pass the vehicle. Okay, so now he's setting up for a very bad line. Imagine there's no vehicles on the road. This is a blind turn. In order to have the best view for a blind turn like this, is you're going to have to be all the way over here. Okay, so you're going to have to be all the way over there. You're going to have a better view around the turn. You also need to slow it down. But the car is in the way. So this is the problem that he's perceiving, is that, well, there's a car in the way, so I have to get in the other lane. Didn't even think about, hey, maybe I should slow down so I have a better view and I can see what's around this corner. Nope, we aren't doing that. So what he's doing is he's switching lanes. He's giving himself a worse view, and he's also giving himself a really bad position for the turn. So right now he's doing inside, outside. It's pretty typical when you're going a little bit too fast and you focus on only trying to get over here. And when he's doing inside, outside, he's going to go way outside because of the speed he has. So when he gets to this point right here, he's trying to get himself back into that lane. So he's doing something that is against what he's trying to do. He's trying to make this right-hand turn, but he's moving left. Does that make sense? And when you do that, you're having to push your body and you're pushing your bike to the outside. And now you have to put even more lean angle, more body position, more everything into that turn just to make that turn. So you're pushing yourself more and more and more, and then you got to lean more and more and more to make that turn. That is setting yourself up for failure. You want to set yourself up for success by being in the outside so you have a good view around the corner, and then you can go. Slow look, press, and roll is going to help you in this situation. You need to slow down. You need to look where you're going, press to initiate the lean, and then roll on the throttle to get out of that. He is not doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's putting himself in a very bad position. And then see how he gets shot out to the left. Well, now you have that transition from gravel to asphalt, asphalt to gravel, and you're going to have a little bit of rocks here and there, and you're going to lose even more and more traction. So he's a little bit upright comparatively to the bike, and the bike is leaned over. It's going to cause him to wash out and then crash. And when I say he got very lucky, you have that metal pole right there. Could easily have hit that metal pole on his face. He could have easily went off a cliff. All these different things. Sorry, I had to burp. So we need to start focusing on the behavior itself. What led up to this crash? Was it the fact that he went too fast around a blind curve? It could quite possibly be that. You know, a lot of the times we watch these videos and it's just that little segment. There's no real context of who the person is, how they typically ride, all these different things. I wanted to bring in some context before the crash, and I want you guys to see the behavior of this group. And these two people and all the other ones, they're just riding very recklessly. And this is what I don't want you guys to do. Now, at the end of the day, you guys do whatever you want to do. For me personally, as an MSF rider coach, an accident scene management instructor, firefighter, EMT, all these different things, I've seen what happens when it's not something so lucky like getting up from here. It's bad. Very bad, and I don't want that to be for you. And I know the excitement that motorcycles can bring you. I understand that, but let's go ahead and just tone it down, because we can still get the same amount of pleasure, same amount of fun, everything from just maybe picking the right line. Let's just pick the right line to see how perfect we can make this turn. Nothing that says we have to make this turn fast. It just means let's try to make it perfect. Perfect line, perfect body positioning, perfect initiation, perfect point of apex, you know, everything. Let's focus on that. And then on top of that, hey, if I'm the leader, I'm keeping my friends safe. I'm keeping my best friends, my buddies, my family, everybody that's riding with me safe, because I'm setting an example. Let's do that, everybody. Let's not do this. Car right here. So he's gonna sideswipe it. It's an angular incident, or see how he kind of went off the side. It's not necessarily a T-bone. And then he's gonna smash this windshield. Seriously. Guys, we're going to talk about this and why you shouldn't be doing that. I think it's pretty obvious, but once again, thank you to my patrons. Thank you to everybody so much. Look, you can even see that he's